justification for it.
I understand where we are. So essentially what we have, I'll dive out again very, very quickly. We have one group of monotheists, the Muslims, who would have a community that came from a sacred text. But as Christians, we have a sacred text that came from the community.
Yes.
And I would say that the same, that God created within this community and gave authority to this community to represent him as far as the witness of his son Jesus Christ, as we can see from those verses that I gave you, the authorizer and that.
I don't know if that makes sense. Okay. I can see that. But if I were to say, wait a minute, just using the very basis of the scriptures, where he says, which is commonly used here, where he says, I can of my own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just because I seek not my will, but the will of him that sent me.
This is a New Testament.
The Gospel of John. When he is saying that, is he making a distinction between the Creator and him? I would say yes, but more importantly, that's not the issue. The more important issue is that, is he receiving something from the Creator?
Jesus.
Yes, the answer is a definite
I can see where perhaps straying into those realms of examining a verse and trying to...
No, I don't want to do that.
So I'm not sure how to
what
answer
I'm saying
that.
is, for example, where he talks about the scripture, you know, where he talks about the scripture, he refers to the Old Testament, but then he expands on it.
Sure.
So whatever he has expanded on is not necessarily found in the Old Testament. He has added new information.
Where does it say?
For example, as an example, it is said of old, how do you commit adultery? And then he said, but I say unto you, X, Y, and Z. That was not found in there. He has added it. Are you following? So he has, obviously, if we are going to agree that he came with a message, he brought extra information, or he just came to remind you.
That is a really, really good point.
Yeah.
And I thought, go on. Can I dive in? Now? Because it's funny, as I was coming up on the coach, and I was reading that passage where the Pharisees tried to trick Jesus when they said, which is the greatest commandment?
Yes.
And Jesus says, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, and your neighbour as yourself. And then Jesus adds another commandment, apparently, if we're looking at the sacred text. And he said, to love one another, no, to love your neighbour as yourself is the law and the prophets. So what I like about the Christian presentation is, what Jesus does is he came to simplify, to refine to its most, let's say, pertinent essence, as far as me and you as required, as people who want to adhere themselves to the righteousness of God as far as is humanly possible, is that what he did was to say, okay, we had all of this legislature, we had all of these forms of religious forms, but the essential aspect of Christianity, the essential aspect of monotheism, he calls it the royal law of love. Okay, which could be argued, well, where did the monotheistic God ever talk about the royal law of love? He said, whoever slaps you on the cheek, you slap them on the cheek. But what Jesus is quite revolutionary. He came to fulfill the law. Right. So in the fulfillment of the law, what we see to lots of people would seem to step outside of the corpus of the Old Testament and its laws, etc., etc. But as a fulfillment of the law, something that strikes me again and keeps me grounded as a Christian is that Jesus prophesied the destruction of the temple.
Sorry, Colin. Where did Jesus say he came to fulfill the law?
Where did he say he came to fulfill the law? You know, I will find the verse. I'll find the verse. I haven't got it on my mind.
No problem.
No problem. Yeah. We will next time, because hopefully we'll have another conversation. But something was looking at this net of history, is that the law came to an end at the destruction of the temple, because the high priest and all of the rituals and all of these things that were commanded by God actually came to a physical end, as is verified in history by the various Romans and the Jews, the Jewish history. So when Jesus I might even have it. I might actually have it if I can find it, because that isn't important. If I make a claim, I better have something there to actually feed you with. But
That's
the
not
thing
a problem
is,
at
whether
all.
Jesus claimed it or not, and I will find out the evidence. The fact is that as far as the old law continuing, it actually did stop at the dispersion, at the death of the diaspora of the Jews who were expelled from the Holy Land, to the fact that the Passover they have now on their Passover day is just a shank bone. They don't have the sacrifices. They don't have a whole host of things. So I suppose
would I suggest that just because people are not practicing it doesn't obviate the law, does it?
I think I'm glad you brought me back to what I was trying to say before I kind of wandered off.
It's okay.
Was that I think the thing we were trying to examine was why does Jesus say some things that don't seem to be in line, considering he opened up their minds to understand Scripture?
It's okay, Colin. I appreciate and understand. What I had said that, look, if there's a message that is considered to be from on high, and it has the necessary information which verifies itself internally, it doesn't require any historical support for it. It is independent on its own, or you have another one where exactly the same thing, but it is totally reliant on historical evidence. Now, the question I asked before we look at the verse is, when Jesus said, I can of my own self do nothing, as I hear I judge, he is talking about receiving something, Otherwise, he wouldn't be speaking about what he's saying.
Sure.
So, what I am saying is, look, the historical narrative that you have given me in terms of a model, I'm saying, look, I'm not even disagreeing with most of it about Christ coming, about his followers, about a message. Totally agree with all that.
The written part, would you?
That's what I'm addressing now.
Right,
the written part, can it stand independently on its own? Now, you rightfully said in the conversation that, look, we don't look, and you cannot think of any church fathers, from the top of your head, who consider the New Testament to be the veritable Word of God.
In most Bibles, in red, they have the words of Jesus. The Sermon on the Mount. They would most definitely have, within this flow of the biography, there would have been portions of it that are ascribed directly to Jesus, which they would accept as the heart of the message.
Agreed. But what we have to try and, how can I say, wrestle with,
I like
better
that.
word,
It's good.
wrestle with is the internal evidence. So, for example, I'm sure you are familiar with 2 Timothy 3:16. All Scripture is inspired of God.
Right. Okay. This is Paul
for doctrine, reproof, correction, and instruction unto righteousness. When he said all Scripture is inspired of God, shall we consider the New Testament to be Scripture?
He's talking about the Old Testament.
No, but I'm asking you, when he says all Scripture, is that inclusive of the New Testament?
When he said it, no.
So, do we exclude the New Testament totally?
No, because we're back to where we started off.
Exactly.
See, up until the establishment of the church, which we see within Scripture, and then as a vehicle, because I like this, you said we're wrestling with this thing as a vehicle. This thing as a vehicle, which for Christians, for me, I'm convinced was called the Catholic Church. So I'm wrestling to see what it carried with it, who were the people in charge of it, where did they get their authority to even be in front of the driving seat, and I suppose could I, what's the word for it? Could you indulge me just a bit, because I suppose the bottom line for me is I have a collection, and we've gone through. You've been very patient with me, but
sorry, colleague. Mohammed, 5 minutes. Yes, 5 minutes.
1 minute.
Five.
Okay, did you want to go now?
No. We have got 5 minutes.
Okay. So as far as, because I'm convinced I can either use exegesis or eisegesis. So what I've attempted to do for myself, rather than me say to convince you, for myself, I'm convinced that the historical facts of the first 5 steps that we said of Jesus, etc., in there, but I'm joining that at the point of departure of Jesus Christ directly with historically verifiable entity known as the church.
Yes.
And from that church, we have through history as a vehicle the books that were compiled for reading within the church along with the true understandings, etc.
Absolutely.
Now what that leaves me with is back to this, and maybe now isn't the time for you to give me a reply because it might take some time. But this space, and it's a very good term that you used, I've attempted to fill this space using texts from the New Testament, using evidences from the early church fathers where these verses were simultaneously part of, and tried to not include my interpretations of any verses. So the requirement would be, if we're on a totally neutral ground, would be, okay, if I move from my space the things I've attempted to put into Phil and maybe to convince you that this evidence is one worthy of reflecting on, the onus then on is that if we agree that Jesus had followers, and if we agree that Jesus' followers has recorded those statements, which would we agree, that's probably an important thing, would you agree that the _𝐤𝐤𝐤, the books or the writings, whatever, we won't describe them, they were in existence after Jesus ascended into heaven within the community of Christians? Would you accept that?
I would. However, I would have a caveat. You see, when I have been, all the time that I've been discussing, the most important thing is to assess the evidence. But in order to assess it, we would need, and this is a common word that I use, we would need a yardstick.
Right.
Now, my contention is that the yardstick ought to be one that the Creator has provided.
Okay.
Yeah? If I am going to rely on a historical element, then I would have to necessarily also accept that there can be potentially issues with how the transmission took place. There can be issues. So I would need a yardstick which by definition would have to be one from the Creator. From the Creator. That's how I would view it. So here is what I would suggest, Colin, because I do need to.
Could we pick it up again another time I come down?
I was about to say,
how often do you come here?
We come every 4 weeks. But what I will do, Colin, I'll give you a card.
Thank you for that.
And what we can do, we can communicate over the net also via email.
I appreciate that.
That's my email there. Drop me an email, definitely, Colin.
Overt communication is wonderfully liberating, isn't it?
Absolutely. And then what we can do, I can then tell you when we are due to come, and then we can hopefully look up. But what I would suggest for the next one, what we can do, I would prefer to have a basis. The historical element must carry on its own the information. But I am turning it the other way and saying, look, if we look at the internal evidence, that should suggest to us whether the message that we are talking about is from God. I will take this extension for you, Colin, and I will say, right, Colin, I agree with you. On the basis of the evidence, there seems to be a continuation from the Old Testament to the New Testament. What I would usually say, wait a minute, Colin, there is a continuation, but I would suggest also there may be a continuation from the New Testament.
Okay, that's an interesting
There's a
one.
possibility, but that should be evidence-based.
Okay, right.
So what I would say is, hopefully next time we meet again, we pick it up from here. Hopefully we'll be able to iron out all the issues over email. And then when we come here, we can go straight in.
I wonder if I could ask you maybe to reflect on this and maybe think about it and come back, because I was really pleased when you said, and it kind of, sometimes someone says something and it snaps your attention. When you said we need to fill this space. And for me to, let's say, personally consider moving from my evidence. As I move away from the evidence I presented, as we both agree, there was a community who were the witnesses of the events and the teachings of Jesus that were in existence 600 years prior to Muhammad. Now, as I move my evidence away, And because, say, as a Muslim, I would be required to believe in the Torah and the Injil, I need, as I move away, you to bring in your alternative explanation as to who the Christians were, how they worship, etc. That's what I need to move.
I will, God willing, we will do that.
Sure.
But I will also use the internal evidence to establish what I am saying.
For sure.
So that
can I just say this? Because I hope we'll get to the stage where I will be able to say, you know what, I'm going to move my evidence away.
Yes.
But then we have to wrestle with what we left with, and that's where the interesting part is.
Absolutely, and that is why I said, Colin, hopefully the continuation perhaps does continue, then we can address that.
Well, God bless you. No, I really do appreciate. God bless you and your family.
Do forgive me if I said anything.
No, you know what?
No,
likewise.
Yeah.
As we were getting to the meat, I was aware of a spirit, you know, when the shouting's going, and I thought the old man has got to go to sleep, the old man that was becoming a Frankenstein's monster. He didn't want to be, and I'm glad we got through this first encounter.
I don't see any.
You know, as a fail-safe, for me, I invite you at the first time, and I think you're a man with the spiritual kind of insight to say, I can feel the flesh, Colin. Can you just get a grip? Because I need someone like my accountability partner to say, Colin, because it needs to be suppressed. Because if it isn't, you know how things go, and I never ever want that to happen.
No.
So,
God willing, it shouldn't. Look, at the end of the day, we have mutual respect. We are here. We are talking about what we have as our point of view. And there isn't a need to be offensive. There isn't a need to be sarcastic. Where the need arises, one forewarns that, look, I'm about to say something which may be unpalatable, but it is for the
I would like to say to my Christian brothers and sisters, if you do watch this video, that as far as following the teachings of your founder and my founder, Jesus Christ, I think Jesus will have smiled on the conversation that we've had. And it's not for me to tell you how to conduct your conversations, but conduct them as a Christian, as Jesus would want you to.
That's good advice to our Christian brethren. I think at 2 or 3 o'clock, some of them will come. Can you approach them?
I'm disappearing over there. God bless you.
Likewise.
Salam alaikum.
Thank you, Look after yourself.
And you.
And hopefully communicate and we'll take it forward.
For sure. Excellent.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Sorry. I'm trying to pick it up.
Okay, brother.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah.
Thank you, sir. How are you? Other brother, they said didn't come. See you later, inshallah. And please like. Okay, inshallah.